Well guys, this stuff is going to come in handy today. So I want to make a big giant cardboard template for the sandrail project here so that I can locate where the upper shock mount positions are going to be. So bear with me a little bit, I got to do some cutting here and then I'll lay this thing out and it'll start to make sense to you guys. Alright, so it's vice grip time. And on the machine here, I've got marks in various places here where I want that cardboard to be sitting. And up here, and up here, and the same thing on the other side of the machine. So I'm just going to be using these vice grips to create a little gap for that cardboard to be sitting in. So a shot from the back side, you can see the vice grips doing their job. So this pair here, it creates a bit of a pocket for that cardboard to sit in. And same thing just on that side. Also using the magnets here, they're doing the same kind of a job, keeping the cardboard from wanting to slide down the tube here. So guys, that creates quite a large drawing area here for me to start figuring out where I want those shocks to be mounted. So in the other video I was showing you guys how I made these shock mount brackets, and so these were actually for the right side, which never got welded on. So I ended up running out of wire and never welded them on, but since then I revised that bracket, and those are the new style right there, and that's because I wanted to move that shock mount forward just a little bit. And so this is the new style, and it's just tack welded on here, so I got to finish welding that up. But it's complete enough now here on the left side that I can really start figuring out where I want those shock mounts to be. So a real critical part of this build is where is that wheel positioned when it's fully bottomed out in relation to the rest of the frame. So I'm going to look here. You can see a bottom frame rail there and one there. And this is part of the A-arm, so I'm not looking at that. I'm just looking at that one and that one. So if I line up the bottom of those two frame rails, and then I look, you can see how much of that tire is hanging below that frame. So, and that's important because that tire will compress, and the ground can compress also as the tire hits it. And I don't want to have the frame hitting the ground hard, or even at all actually, because that's a good recipe for back injury. So I'm trying to get that right. And what you see there is actually going to be a bit more because I'm not even taking into account the bump stop. So when I made the top shock mounts on the front, I did it in such a way that I could adjust the suspension travel. And I want to do the same kind of thing in the back. Right now I've got that rear suspension in the back fully compressed, and I've also got a shock up there that's also fully compressed. Okay, so now I'm going to put a mark on the cardboard where the bolt hole actually would go, and see if I can do that in one sweep here with the marker in it. So that's the compressed mark. Anywhere along there is going to be the top shock mount. So I'm going to extend this suspension now, and where the two lines intersect, that is exactly where I want my shock mount to be. So I'm ready to make another mark on that cardboard, and this time with the suspension extended and with the shock extended. And the shock is not extended all the way though. I've got a little mark that you probably won't be able to see with a marker right in here, and I've got this shock collapsed just a little bit because what's going to happen in a roll, the limit strap is going to probably stretch a bit, and I don't want to have that shock piston stressed inside there, so that's why I have it set up like that. So right now I can swing the shock over, and I already put a little notch in that cardboard there so that the shock body could get in nice and close. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once again with a marker, I'll put a little sweeping mark right in there. So that's exactly where I want to have a shock mount, right in the middle of that intersect point. That would be the middle of the bolt. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower the wheel into the other position where it's going to end up with more suspension travel, and then I'll repeat the process here and I'll make another mark on it. The next one will be down a ways. I'm not sure exactly how far, but it'll be probably in this area here. And then I'll end up with 2 shock mount positions for 2 suspension travel amounts. Well, I think that's it for me for today. I'm going to go in and maybe the wife wants to join me for something to eat. And we'll talk to you guys again. Thanks for checking this out.